first, I have to tell you, this is an insane accusation from Huffington Post. Okay, so there's an insane accusation from Huffington Post. Here is the accusation. When you talk about media coverage that is just garbaggio, this one is from Huffington Post. You ready for this? You're not. You think you are, but you're not. This is from Emily Peck. Brett Kavanaugh liked female clerks who looked a certain way, Yale student was told. A few years ago, as she was prepping to interview for a judicial clerkship, a student at Yale Law School received a troubling combination of warning and advice from her professors about one federal judge in particular. Brett Kavanaugh, she was told, liked his female clerks to have, quote, a certain look. Right now, Kavanaugh's nomination to the Supreme Court hangs in the balance as he faces an accusation that he sexually assaulted a girl in high school. The professors proffering the advice are themselves well known. Both Jed Rubenfeld and his wife Amy Chua told this woman about Kavanaugh's preferences. Then Kavanaugh was simply known as a prestigious judge on the D.C. Circuit Court of Appeals. Though neither said the judge did anything untoward regarding the women he worked with, the student found their counsel off-putting. So in other words, there is no actual allegation Kavanaugh did anything wrong, but once upon a time people said that Brett Kavanaugh liked young clerks in his office to look a certain way, and we don't know that we're talking, is that a matter of dress? Is that a matter of what? We have no idea. We don't have any clue. Okay, it's just like, how is this anything short of just a smear? I love this. She advised me to be and dress outgoing. She strongly urged me to send her pictures of what I was thinking of wearing so she could evaluate. I did not. Well, like any employer might want to know whether you're going to walk into the office wearing a bra. Like, I don't even know what this means. Like, Amy Chua is a big advocate of the idea, by the way, that people should dress for success. So maybe that's one of the things that she is suggesting here. We have no idea. All we have is a vague allegation for a person who has never met Brett Kavanaugh saying a third party said he liked his young clerks to look a particular way. This is enough. Obviously, this means that when he was 17, he tried to rape somebody. Clearly. The best article of all comes courtesy of Molly Ball, okay, over at time.com. And here's where we really get to the nub of it. Democrats are trying to restart the War on Women meme based on a fact-free allegation made with no supporting evidence. From the beginning, says Molly Ball, the women were determined to be disruptive. There sat Brett Kavanaugh, looking every bit the world's most decent man with his even demeanor and sparkling resume, ready to go through the motions and receive the benediction of the senators before him. Since the day of his nomination to the Supreme Court, Kavanaugh had portrayed himself as a champion of women. Introducing himself to the nation, he emphasized the women he cherished, saying his mother, a judge, was his ultimate role model, talking about his daughters and the majority of female law clerks he'd hired. Members of the girls' basketball teams he's coached sat in the front rows behind him at his Senate confirmation hearing. Earlier, he had recited the names of his daughter's teammates. Anna, Quinn, Kelsey, Sian, Chloe, Alex, Ava, Sophia, and Margaret. I love helping the girls grow into confident players. He had spent a lifetime pushing all the right buttons, and now nothing seemed to stand between the federal judge and a seat on the nation's highest court. But one after another, women interrupted. Still, she persisted. Protesters popped up in the back of the room, yelling and waving signs before being hustled out by police. Women senators spoke out of turn. Mr. Chairman, I'd like to be recognized, pled Democrat Kamala Harris of California, to no avail. Kavanaugh sat quietly in the middle of it, a cherubic smile on his face. But the women, it turned out, were not done disrupting him. Just when the end seemed in sight, his confirmation vote less than a week away after a hearing that had turned up no more than the usual partisan angst, Christine Blasey Ford, a California college professor, decided to put her name to a devastating accusation, charging that some 36 years prior, when they were both in high school, Kavanaugh had sexually assaulted her. It was a hazy accusation, hesitantly lodged, short on detail, and curiously timed. But Ford's charge shattered Kavanaugh's carefully crafted tableau, calling into doubt the image he projected. The row of young girls, legs bare in their private school skirts, looked different now. Okay, so him having a bunch of girls he coaches in basketball come to a hearing. That looked different. Maybe Kavanaugh, what's the implication? That Kavanaugh abused them? Is the implication that Kavanaugh did something to them? Because that's a BS accusation. You got any evidence, Molly Ball? Or are you just going to throw it out there that all women are victims? Kamala Harris is victimized, just as Christine Blasey Ford was victimized, just as the women on Brett Kavanaugh's, the little girls on Brett Kavanaugh's basketball team were victimized. Women are victims. That's the final pitch. That's the election pitch. End of story. That's what this entire thing is about. All of this boils down to just a couple of words. 3, really. Women are victims. That's it. That's the only pitch Democrats have to make here, because they can't make a true or false pitch. They won't even put this lady in front of a hearing, even behind closed doors. They won't have her talk with senators. They won't provide any supporting evidence, nothing. And we're supposed to buy that. We're supposed to sit here and pretend that that's okay, that it's okay to destroy America's unity on the basis of allegations that have no verifiability without any questions being asked, and that if you ask a question, it means you're a sexist? Honestly, if you believe that's what America is all about, you do not understand what America is all about. Due process of law is probably the most key element of the Constitution of the United States. And now the Democrats who have proved they don't like the First or the Second Amendments have determined that they don't actually like the Fifth Amendment either. They don't like due process of law. It's something that has to go completely by the wayside.